We're live. Hello, everybody.
We're live.
It's Karen Marie Shelton, and I am here doing another Script and Musings live with the poet Miranda, who's here with me. I'm very excited. Miranda, I'm sure everybody probably knows you, but why don't you do a little intro to who you are?
Okay. I'm Miranda. I'm a trans woman. I'm a poet. I'm um a mom to two kids. I'm a wife. I'm um yeah. Could list lots of things.
Yeah, yeah, and you
You
have
know.
naturally curly hair, which we were talking about before because I
Yeah, but it's up today.
yeah, but it looks good. I'm a fan of naturally curly hair. Yeah, I
I'm
used to.
also coasting on yesterday's um mascara.
Oh, that's okay. You need to extend mascara to get, to get the value. I think,
Yeah,
I think it's like
they
second
say
day.
72 hours or whatever. Like, let's do it. Let's
Yeah, I need mascara. I don't have any. I used to have some, but I don't know. I just, I visualize myself as sort of a head in a bowl. Did you watch Wednesday, the Addams Family, Wednesday Addams at all?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know how in the second season there was, I don't want to give away any spoilers, but there was a
I've only
perpetually
watched the
different
first
bowl.
season. I haven't watched the second one yet.
Okay, well then never mind. Okay. So before I get in any trouble, I'm going to start asking you some questions here that Wendy put together. And she told me I couldn't tell any of the people I was interviewing what the questions were so they could be spontaneous and answer from the heart. So just let it rip.
Yeah,
So
otherwise I would have overthought all of them.
would you? Okay, well, you don't have to think any. So I am going to sort of sanitize this question because we know how Wendy is and we love her dearly. But she said, "What the bleep are you currently scribbling and why the bleep does it matter to you?"
Okay, so on my site, thepoetmiranda.com, um, I have multiple projects going on.
Hmm.
Um, there's like basically three manuscripts I'm trying to assemble right out there in public and like,
Wow.
hey, I think this fits with this manuscript that I'm working on and this fits with this other one. So one of them is memoir. I call it my mixtape memoir because the each entry or post or chapter or whatever you want to call it is set up like a single, like a music single. And the songs that I choose for those singles are all on my transition playlist.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of there are a lot of trans people who will use art to help us find ourselves, or like if we are not out yet, then it's like, oh, this piece of art always connected with something in me, even if I didn't have that figured out yet. And so, um, music's a big deal for me. And so there have always been these songs that, like, this song is very much like something I've always,
Oh no.
like, not feeling like I'm myself. And then there are other songs that are like, connected to my womanhood way before I knew how to describe that that's what that was.
Wow.
So like I'll have a side A and side B of the single, maybe a bonus track, and they're all from that playlist. And I'll just be like, okay, here's this song, and here is what it is currently making me think about. And there's some of them where uh, it kind of goes off into a direction of um, explaining conceptual things about like what it means to be a trans woman, or a queer person and more generally. And then there are other ones where it's like this triggered a childhood memory. And so I'm going to tell you this childhood memory. One of my kids just stepped in, so I'm going to mute for a second.
Okay, sure. All right. So, hey, Brandon, I see that you're here joining us, and I appreciate it very much. So, Miranda's back, I think. She was talking to one of her children, I believe.
Yeah,
You're back.
like I said, I'm a mom.
I didn't know you
So
were. I didn't know you were a mom. How old are your
yeah,
kids?
so
Is it okay to ask?
uh, yeah, so they're 17 and 16,
Oh, wow.
and they both do online school. So they're at home, and I'm here with them, being the one like get back on your lessons. Um, so
Oh, that's really
yeah,
nice. So they're both in high school.
yeah. One's a senior and one's a sophomore.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice that you get to be there with them. So
Yeah,
you were talking about before there was, you stopped for a second. You were talking about this playlist, basically a memoir that's built around a playlist of the music that's influenced your life through your transition, correct?
yeah.
Oh, that's really beautiful. And you said you had 3 things you were working on.
Yes. So the other two are poetry manuscripts.
Okay.
So one of those um, is titled The Escape Act.
Mhm.
And the reason that it's called the Escape Act is um, whenever I was in grad school working on my MFA in creative writing, um, basically your MFA thesis is a book manuscript. And something that's been kind of popular in the poetry community in the last 10, 15 years or so has been like the project book, sort of like a project album.
Right.
So you would have all of these poems that are around like a central topic and use a lot of like shared imagery that like comes from that topic, and then you use that imagery to get at whatever themes that you feel led to talk about or whatever. So the Escape Act came about uh, back then. My wife did some genealogical research and found out that I am related to Harry Houdini.
Oh, that is so cool.
So I was like, "Oh yeah, this is my this is my project book." So like I started, reading books about him, books by him, um, and writing these poems that used the imagery of the escape act, of the magic trick, of vaudeville and performance and carnival. And I put together, enough for my thesis, but it still felt incomplete for a long time. And as I got closer to coming out as trans, I was like, "Oh my god, that's what my escape act is." Like, this has been right in front of me this whole time, and I finally picked enough of the locks in my brain to know that that's what's going on here. It's like
Wow.
I'm writing about my, um, like, internal life as a trans woman. Um, so that's one of my book manuscripts. The other one is called, Car Girl, and, it's, uh, like, when I was masking and living as a guy, um, one of the things that I gravitated toward as, like, a guy interest, if you will, was cars. So, I've always, like, tracking new models coming out and looking at classic cars and knowing what engine's in what car and all of the stats and, um, working on uh, my car, the cars I had as a teenager with my dad. Um, I had this. My first car was a '65 Ford F-100 pickup truck
Oh, wow.
with a three on the tree transmission, and so some of like my best times with my dad, and also some of my worst times, were working on that truck because it broke down all the time. So, yeah, so, like, cars have always had this, like, special place for me, um, but our culture considers that such a gendered thing.
They really do.
It's like girls like these things and guys like cars. Brr,
Yes.
and I'm like, "I love cars, still love cars." Like, we live in, Denver, and so there's the Front Range Mountains just out an hour west to us. So my wife and I are up in the mountains most weekends. The kids are intermittent on whether they go with us or not. But like I always drive because like driving the mountain roads with the switchbacks and the sharp curves and the up and the down, like that's fun for me every time, every week, every Saturday. Um, like carving up Highway 36 to Estes Park so we can go to Rocky Mountain National Park is like I love it.
Oh, I'm jealous. Did you learned on a clutch, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. My dad
Yeah,
was
like I
interested.
actually have I have a poem in the Car Girl manuscript called The Tank,
Ooh,
and it is about me learning how to drive manual transmission on that truck.
wow.
I'm gonna drop the link here in the
Yes,
chat.
please do. Please do.
And
Oh, yeah, there we
also,
go.
I'm always happy to read my poems. So if you want me to read any poems
Oh,
uh,
wow. Yeah.
along the way, let me know.
Okay. Well, I have a bunch of questions, but maybe I can get through them quick so you could read if you wanna read. You know what? Why don't you read the manual transition? I can really relate to that. I had so many scary days learning a manual transition because I grew up in St. Louis, and my father would take me to the parts of the city that had the biggest hills, and I would be
Oh yeah,
terrified that I'd stall out the car and we'd slide backwards or, so I'd be like shaking trying to, keep my foot
yeah.
in. Yeah. Go ahead, read that one, please.
That's very much like a sink or swim kind of
Yeah, yeah, it
situation.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
thrown in the pond.
All right. So this is called The Tank. Her dad drove them out there Sunday. Rural blacktop, all hills, no speed limit. In the shadow of the tall blue water tower, he stopped the old pickup and tossed her the keys. Son, the title she wore then, I ain't driving us home, he continued, and I sure as hell ain't walking. She sat behind the wheel and looked over the hood to where the hill in front of her crested, too tall to see how many mounds stood between her and the highway. She turned the key, feathered the gas. That sweet liquid coursed through fuel line, single barrel carb, and fired in the time-worn engine. That the stiff straight six coughed back to life in her hands. Press on the gas while you let out the clutch. That's how it should work. Delicate balance. First try. The tank lurched forward backward, then croaked. The tired clutch whined when she pressed the pedal back down to the floorboard. Try again. Remember what I taught you. Yeah, Dad, I get the theory. How long did she search for that space between push and pull before she found the feel? When they finally reached highway again, he asked, Are you ready? She stalled the tank again.
No.
A moment later, she slid the shifter to third and thought she heard good job, like wind whistling in through the wing windows.
Oh my gosh. Oh, oh my gosh. I can relate to that. I was right there with you. I was right in the car with you. My gosh, that's really good. I have chills. I really have chills. You
Thank you.
know, unless somebody's learned how to drive with the clutch, they really do not have any idea. I mean, you really have the car in your hands. You really do. It's like you have the heartbeat of the car in your hands.
Yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful. Wow. I'm glad you read
And
that.
it wasn't nearly as easy as like a modern 5 speed or something like that. Like that clutch pedal really, works the hell out of my leg.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's really
Like,
scary. Um, so I wanna incorporate that with some of the questions that I had for you. So, you know, what w you know okay, I've tried writing poetry, I've written music, but I always feel that I'm not I it never clicks in for me. You know how you said that your one of your, memoirs is The Escape, like, your what was the name? I'm sorry.
the
Exact
escape act.
The Escape Act, yeah. I I've never felt like I've escaped out of whatever mental prison I have about poetry. I feel like I can write pretty well. Of course, I always beat myself up, which I know most writers do, but I've never really stepped over that line into the poetry, even though I've wanted to. What would you tell your readers, how you became so good at poetry and what your journey was becoming a poet? Because you're really brilliant at that.
Well, thank you, first of all. But um so from like I I grew up reading like Shel Silverstein poems, so, Light in the Attic and Where the Sidewalk Ends. And just trying to so and then by middle school I started writing my own poems. Had a lot of big feelings in middle school. Um, facing the wrong puberty and all of the complicated feelings that come with that and come with puberty and being in middle school anyway and everything. And so, it started as I'm gonna do this little wordplay things I've learned from reading these other poems, but also um, talk about my feelings. And so, I was just scribbling in notebooks, poems for myself. Didn't know if I would ever um, share those or want to share those with people. Um, and then, I got into high school and I had my ninth grade English teacher taught poetry very differently than the poetry lessons we'd done in middle school English or whatever. Were the 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 previous teachers had this very standard American academic view of poetry of here's this classic poem. Um, Poems always have these deeper meanings and themes, and so we're going to pick it apart in try to determine what the poet really meant. And so it takes so much away from poems whenever you look at them as something to figure out instead of experiencing the poem. And there will be deeper things. There will be things to pull out of it, but you can get there by experiencing the poem by reading it, and you can get there by in your own work by just the act of writing. And um so it led me in a direction of um law, like 20 something years have passed, but like the whole time I've been writing poems and jotting down little lines and notes and stuff. And I ended up getting an English degree. I ended up going to grad school and learning all of the like different formal techniques and stuff like that. But um when I write a poem, I am not trying to express a certain feeling. I'm not trying to express a certain theme when I start the writing process. Like, I have some poems that are like very political, um, because existing as a trans person is very political. Um, but I don't start like, okay, this one's going to be a trans rights poem. No, I start with like, um, you know, I'm going to use another poem as an example. So I have a poem.
Would you like to read it?
Sure. So
You're
it's
right
called,
though. Being trans is a very political it's controversial. It's very political.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. So this is a poem called Christmas 2024, and it started with kind of a general idea of I was a like devout evangelical Christian for a long time. And when I came out as a trans woman, I lost friends. I've had friends send me threats. I've,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
had lots and lots of conversations about how I'm a sinner and I'm a pervert and like all of
I'm so
that
sorry.
bullshit. Um, so, Christmas was coming up last year and I was like, there's this juxtaposition within my life between how Christians treat me and how we are celebrating Christmas and hope and peace and goodwill on earth. And um, so it's a really like stark, really stark juxtaposition. So like that, I had just had that idea tumbling in my mind. Um, and then I went and did Christmas with my in-laws and then with my parents. And at my in-laws' house, one of the traditions is that my father-in-law reads the Christmas story from the Bible.
Oh wow.
So the whole like, Mary and Joseph went for the census and they were turned away at the inn and like that whole thing. And then he'll also read like a Christmas story book. So, it might be like something that's like The Miracle of Christmas. And then it's kind of like a children's book level thing because it's like for all ages in the family. And he has a wonderful baritone voice. Um he was the worship pastor at his church for a long time. Um he used to be like a Christian radio personality.
Wow.
So like wonderful voice to listen to. And so I was sitting there listening to him read the Christmas story while I also had this other thing going on in my mind about all of these awful things that Christian people had said to me because I'm trans. And So, yeah, I just started with this started writing with, like, okay, I'm gonna, like, start with my father-in-law reading The Christmas Story and see how these ideas intersect with each other.
Okay.
So, now I'll read the poem now that I've, like, explained
Okay.
how
No,
I
no,
got
it's
there.
perfect. I love it. Go ahead. I
Yeah.
love it.
So,
Please.
Christmas 2024. This year, as I listen to the timbre of my father-in-law reading Luke 2, the Christmas story, before the donkey even delivers Joseph and Mary to that full inn in Bethlehem to be rejected, I go to the fields and wait with the shepherds. I have questions to ask that coming angel, and I need to hear the chorus sing peace that night. Their voices don't tell me join the 41%, like the worship leader at the megachurch did. I want to go with the shepherds when they see the lowly child, but Angel still hasn't answered whether the deacon at the coffee shop was right. Will he watch from heaven as God heaps coals onto freaks like me? Or are the deep pits of hell fueled by some other source? Why aren't the pastors, I don't even know how many so far, who threaten to ram their staffs into my, into my, I refuse to illustrate these sermons further, but I want to know why I, lowly trans woman, am the one called monster. Angel, can you ask the baby lying in the manger? Can he speak yet? After 2,000 years, is he ready to tell them, I am not the sin he was born to save the world from?
Oh my God.
Reading that one always makes me want to cry.
I'm already, Miranda, I have eyes. Oh my gosh. That is, oh my gosh. Oh, oh, that is very powerful. It's beautiful, powerful, very sad. It's very sad. Thank you for sharing that. Oh my gosh. I'm glad I'm not wearing mascara.
I've got you so
Cry.
far off script now.
This is the first live I've ever done where I started to cry. Oh my god.
Oh.
Thank you. Gosh. Oh. So oh, you have so many. I mean, you've just read two poems and they're both beautiful. I mean, they're both beautiful in very different ways. They've touched my soul. I want to throw Wendy's questions away. No offense, Wendy. They're great, but this is amazing. Is there a particular poem or a line in a poem that is your very special go to? Like, if you're laying there thinking, that is a poem that I feel the most proud of, or that's the line I feel the most proud of. Do you have one?
Ooh, let me like I'm looking at like where I have all the poems listed out. Okay.
You should be doing
I will I will I
We can come back to
I've
that if you
done a
want.
lot of yeah, like I've done several lives like this, like Q&A lives where I've read poems. I've thought about just doing my own lives that are poetry readings, but I haven't.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna
um
have everybody in tears. You're gonna have to send out 3 boxes of Kleenex. Oh,
It's cool. We
Uh,
buy the Costco pack, so we've got plenty.
okay, so
um,
how do you I know now you've shared a lot about your inspiration and how you get your ideas, and do you write anything besides poetry? I mean, or is poetry mainly what you do?
well, I mean, there's the memoir project um, that I'm doing. I don't really write much fiction. Like I've, excuse me, tried to dabble in writing some short stories. Um, but I feel like whenever I'm in that space, it becomes really formulaic. Like I start overthinking what elements should a short story have?
Right,
And
right.
it's funny that like poetry has all of these constraints built into it and uh, all of these like very rigid traditions of like, at certain times people are writing this kind of poem or whatever. Um, but when I'm in writing a poem, like those boundaries um help me figure out what I want to say.
It's like a safe space,
Whereas like
right? Sort of
yeah,
like a safe boundaries for you, where you can just let
yeah,
it
it's
flow
like
within the
guardrails
oh, I
for
like that.
me.
That's really
Yeah,
good.
and then there are times where it's like you get to a boundary in the, whatever rules of poetry you're following and you make the decision of like, well, this is the time I want to step over that line. And like that's a decision to make and not like, there's no hard boundaries, but it's like you get to that point and you're like, okay, this is a time where I step over that particular line and that's going to stand out in a certain way or um, mean a certain thing. Just the going beyond the boundary means something on its own. And, if I try to write a short story, I'm like thinking about plot elements and can't just let the story flow.
That's really beautiful. So, really, you break the rules in your own way. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to learn how to do that with poetry. I don't. I've got my own guardrails when I write stories or I write what I write. But I've never been able to I get to as you said, you would when we were talking about the rules, you said you didn't want to know them in advance because you'd overthink it. When I think about writing poetry, I overthink it to the point where I become paralyzed and I'm like, ah, forget it. I'm not doing it. But one of the things that's interesting is that how you shared how you're inspired. And would it be fair to say there's not just one thing that inspires you, but everything in your life inspires you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Everything. Anything, everything. Um and um I do a lot of I used to carry around moleskin uh notebooks in my back pocket. I
Right.
did that for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Um and now, women don't always have pockets. So
Isn't that a problem? They really don't
yeah,
have pockets.
so
It really
like
sucks.
get so excited whenever a dress has pockets.
Me
But
too.
like so, I have 100 notes in my phone that are all potential poems because I was out at the national park with my wife hiking and I saw something beautiful and want to take some notes that like put me back into that moment.
Mhm.
Or, my kids say something and it um leads me down that rabbit path or whatever that phrase is.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Assholes.
whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So so I know you're thinking about poetry, and I know I'm supposed to we're actually getting to a lot of the questions, believe it or not, just talking, which is really a better way to go, but, Do you have another poem that you're really fond of that you wanna read? I mean, now that you've made me cry, do you have another one that's really a killer that you wanna share that is shouting, "Miranda, let me out."
Um, let me find it here. Okay. So this poem is very directly about me being a trans woman.
Okay.
One of the questions that trans people get a lot is like, when did you know you were trans?
Mhm.
Um, and especially for those of us who came out later, because I came out when I was 39.
Oh, I didn't even think
Um,
you were when you said it's been 20 years since high school, I was thinking, "Oh, she's like 30."
well, happiness is like a fountain of youth.
That's when they always talk about your skin. Have you ever noticed that on Wendy's Live? They always talk about what beautiful skin you have, how soft and youthful it is. Aha, that's it, happiness.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm really fortunate. Not
okay,
gonna lie.
so
Yeah, so like people will ask about like how did you know you were trans? When did you know you were trans? Why didn't you come out earlier? Like you waited until you were almost 40. And all of those questions have as complicated answer as like you can give, but um I was thinking about um like breadcrumbs from my life, especially my like early life, childhood, teenage years, that looking back are like, oh yeah, that's how we got here. Those were signs that I was trans or like um that kind of thing. And so I wanted to put some of those breadcrumbs of my journey that have led my journey into a poem. And so that's what I did.
okay. I'm
um,
ready. Can't wait.
so this one is called Selfies in a Rearview Mirror.
Okay.
She sits in the parking garage, already running late, and frames her face in the rearview mirror. She takes her selfie. Her eyeshadow turned out good on the third try.
Mhm.
She looks in to see behind her, to who she's always been, to when she clutched Raggedy Ann. And there's like, sorry to interrupt my own poem. There's like, I have Andy there stricken out. So, to when she clutched Raggedy Ann, to when she told her mom, I don't want to be the little brother anymore, to when she tumbled across the front lawn after her sister taught her cartwheels. She wanted to turn over and over again until she stuck the landing herself. To when her sister's friends experimented with her hair and makeup. To them, she was a mannequin.
Oh.
To when she dressed up as a girl for Halloween, for fun, she came alive in her uncostume. To when she lifted her hands at church camp and pleaded, she spent years, decades pleading for this thorn to be removed. To when she wore veils in the spring because she couldn't wear a white dress. To when her children called her dad, she tried to be a good father despite the distance within. To when she found something like a woman's courage reflecting back to her. She adjusts the rearview mirror and pulls forward onto the gray city street.
You did it to me again, Miranda. Oh my God, I'm such a soggy mess. I loved what you said about the. I need a minute. I love what you said about the eyeshadow. I love that. That was just such a little insight into you. So beautiful. But then when you said for Halloween you dressed up as a girl and you came alive. Oh my gosh. And you didn't want to be the little brother anymore. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's something I said to my mom when I was 3 years old.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, standing in the hallway in front of our like gas wall heater, and um, I was like, "Mom, can you please have?" I don't know what like my initial words were, but like trying to ask her to have another child. And at some point in there, it was, I don't want to be the little brother anymore. And yeah. Now I'm not. Now I'm the little sister.
You wrecked me. You have wrecked me. The the clutch poem really touched me because I was there with my father, scared to death I was going to roll back and kill a million people with my car.
Hmm.
And the sound that the clutch makes went, "Eek." That was perfect. But the two you read after that, oh my God, are they all like this? I mean, I would have to bring like 2 boxes of tissue to come to one of your readings. I swear to God, I would be like escorted out because I would be blubbering so loud. Those are so good.
So the ironic thing is like I write all of these devastating sad poems, but I write best when I'm happy.
Well, you're very happy.
But like
Yeah.
that's when I'm happy, I can look at those dark subjects or those
In the
sad
rearview mirror.
times
In the
in
rearview
the
mirror.
rearview mirror and like have the right amount of distance to like lay it out.
Do
So
you
yeah,
write?
lots of sad poems.
Oh, well, I'll have to throw myself on your mercy and ask to do a live with you just where you read your poetry. I would love that so much. And I'll have
Yeah.
lots of tissue here. I get chills. I have gotten chills for every one of your poems. The first one didn't make me cry. It made me really reminisce about it. The second two made me cry. The third one made me cry worse than the second one, and I thought the second one was devastating. So, do you write all day long, or what is your, I mean, I know you have children and you're a wife and you were talking about cooking, and I know you do that, but do you write, how what is your writing habit during the day?
I don't have a I'm not one of those writers who has like a consistent writing time. I try to do some amount of writing every day, but it's really more of like um okay, the kids are doing their thing and the weather's nice, so I'm gonna go walk at the park and sit down on a bench and write. Um,
What a perfect
or
place. What a great place to write.
or it's like late at night and I'm having insomnia because my mind won't stop going. And so, I'm like hammer some stuff out. I like a lot of my memoir pieces, um, those tend to be like written late at night because I don't have to worry about all the family stuff. Um, and I can just like sit there with those feelings and those memories and figure out how to talk about them
So you're
and
kind of
listen
sitting
to
around
the
with your
same
ghost.
song on repeat 10 times while I'm writing about it. So,
You have one on repeat 10 times?
or like I'll have like the song that I am writing about for that single on repeat while I'm writing about it.
Oh, that's perfect. That's really perfect. Wow. So you have a lot of ghosts that hang out with you too, ghost of memories and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Really great. So, I know you like to go up into the mountains. I know you like to go hiking. I don't know if you like to cook or not. You mentioned you do cook and you like to be in the park. One of the things that Wendy had said that I should ask is, and there's no special Mirandas, although she should have had some. I mean, from all the lives I've been on, I know that she knows you very well. Um, but what what other things do you like to do besides writing and spending time with your family, going up into the mountains, car things? Do you have any other like secret things that you love? I mean, we found out that Brandon likes to do gardening. I had no idea he liked to do gardening, and he also likes to play pickleball of all things. I would never have imagined him playing pickleball. So do
Yeah,
you have
I've
any
I've
secret things?
I've been intending to play some pickleball. Because I played um tennis in high school and since high school, like I've played um recreationally here and there. But I actually messed up my knees pretty bad playing
Oh,
high school tennis.
yeah, that's a problem.
Um, yeah, so torn meniscus in both knees.
No.
Um, 3 knee surgeries.
How
Um,
many?
3,
Oh,
like right out of high school. Um, so like they did surgery on my uh left knee, and then like we waited until I had theoretically recovered from that, and then did surgery on my right knee, and then I ended up um re-tearing my left knee and needing a second surgery. And so yeah, like some mornings I wake up and like I have to pop my knees in order to like get my legs to function. It's
oh
not ple-
no.
not
Oh
pleasant, but
no.
so I still love tennis. I try to take it easier on the court now. Um, that's a little bit difficult for me because I want to be competitive. Even if it's just like I'm hitting with a friend, like I still like I I have this great backhand. I'm gonna use it. Um, so Brandon needs to come over to Denver and play tennis and pickleball with me. Um,
He's not that far away. I mean, in Missouri, he's
yeah,
not far. I'm not that far away in Dallas.
yeah. So he's only 10-hour drive away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So another thing that I haven't talked about as much in like all my social media antics and stuff uh, is I love billiards.
You do? Wow.
Yeah,
I have never heard or seen that anywhere about you.
yeah. So we grew up with a pool table in the house, and my dad teaching me how to shoot pool, and playing 8 ball and 9 ball and stuff. Um, so I always loved it. It was always a good time with my parents. And like when I was a kid, my dad would like be in a pool league. Um, at the pool hall once a week. Like he worked for most of my childhood. He worked third shift, and so there was a pool league at the pool hall that catered to all of the people who came off third shift. Like they would shoot a pool league at uh, 8 or 9 in the morning or whatever, and
Wow.
then and there was a bowling league that was the same way. Like there was a morning bowling league, and it was a handful of like older people who are free during the day because they're retired, but it was mostly like the third shift guys from work. Um, so like my dad did pool leagues back then, and then um, whenever my parents, so like my wife and I settled in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's where we met. We met at Christian University there, or Roberts University.
Oh, yes.
Um,
I've been there.
and yeah, praying hands and all that stuff. Um, so um, we were settled in Tulsa for several years, and then my dad got a job opportunity in the Tulsa area. So my parents, became our neighbors. They lived on the other side of the city, but out in the suburbs. But so after they moved there, they started playing in a pool league there in Tulsa, and I started like subbing for their team occasionally, and then um, I then we moved to Kansas City for me to do grad school. So like I was away for 3 years and then came back. And when I came back from Kansas City, I joined their pool team. And so every Tuesday night, and for a while every Monday and Tuesday night, um, my parents and I would play on the same team in this 8-ball pool league,
Wow. That's cool.
and it was a lot of fun. Um, but like I also enjoy uh, other types of billiards that are less common in the US, like snooker and um, carom billiards, which is like played on a pocketless
Oh, yeah.
surface, and it's about like specific ball contact, and like you have to hit the first object ball and then hit 3 rails and hit the second object ball or things like that. So I love all of that, and um, we have a pool table here in our apartment building, so I go down there and hit the balls around sometimes.
But you said that you live in Colorado now, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we moved to Colorado last summer
Oh,
um because in part because of me being a trans woman, but our teenagers are also queer. So they were being bullied at school.
oh,
Um the state superintendent of Oklahoma is a terrible, mean person, and he instructed schools to stop doing anything to do with bias-based bullying. So like
oh,
schools could only fight back against bullying on like a generic like be nice to each other level, and forget about the fact that queer kids have targeted bullying, black kids have targeted bullying, the girls have targeted bullying. Like
yep.
um yeah. So like there we tried to go to the principal and get some help from administration. And the principal's response was basically, well, if they weren't weird, they wouldn't get bullied.
No, I'm horrified. That's terrible. Your poor kids.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
you moved.
yeah. So we moved. Um, yeah. So we've been here a little over a year now.
Colorado's
And
gorgeous.
it's gorgeous. We love like, like we talked about, we love the mountains. That was something we didn't have in Oklahoma. Like
Oh,
Oklahoma,
yeah.
we tried to like, do lake time and like, still there's lovely spaces in Oklahoma. Um, so, we still tried to do that while we were there. But um, yeah, living here it's a magical place with the
I'm
nature,
glad.
and it's also a much more supportive social environment.
Very much so. Yeah. I hope that wasn't inappropriate to ask you.
No, not at all.
Yeah. I never wanna ask
So
inappropriate questions, which reminds me.
you can literally ask me anything, and if it's
Oh,
something I don't want to answer, then I'll just not answer it.
I could talk to you for hours. You're so interesting, but I wanna ask a few last minute questions because 'cause we're almost out of time. I'm so sad. Promise me you'll do this again.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
absolutely.
I'm gonna start watching all the lives you're on so I can get more information. I wanted to ask you, is there a particular person that you would really love if they read your poetry?
Wow, that one's heavy.
Ah, that's a Wendy.
That's
Thank you,
yeah,
Wendy.
that's such a good question. Way to go, Wendy.
Yeah. High five. You can wait and tell me next time we talk if you want.
Oh no, I want to get stout. What's on my mind? Um, yeah, I would. There are some specific people in this group that I would really like to in the group that I'm going to talk about that I would like to read my poetry, but um, in general, or yeah, I would like Christian leaders. I would like for pastors and deacons and bishops and you know priests to because they're like I I have a lot of religious trauma. Um, but like I was very active in the church for a long time, and I always tried anyway to take this approach of like we are representing God's love. And so you love people and then you let them figure out what decisions they need to make and what path they need to take to live out their faith. Like that's not your decision. So like that was the tack I tried to take when I was active in the church. But um, like we talked about earlier, since I came out, a lot of uh people in the church have been very unkind, and it's a lot of it has to do with um teachings from spiritual leaders that say like this thing over here is uh, a huge sin and we have to conquer it. And churches, um, because they see trans people as inherently sinful in a specific way that is different than all people are sinners. Um, they aren't critical about the messaging that they take in about trans people from media personalities and politicians and other spiritual leaders. And so there are so many pastors who get up and preach against me and take the lies that they heard on Fox News or wherever, and they're standing there in their pulpit bearing false witness against somebody. And that more than any other aspect of my religious trauma breaks my heart the most. And I wish that those people, would read one of my poems and go like, "Oh, she's a person." Like, she's a person and
With a
she
beautiful
has
heart
this,
and a beautiful soul.
yeah. So that's my answer. And then there are specific pastors that, are on that list. So
I can't believe we've been talking for an hour. It feels like 10 minutes.
it did go by fast.
You have so much great information to share. And do you have any last that was a really good answer. I almost hate to ask you anything else, but who you wanted to read your poetry. I think I'm gonna leave it there because that is such a brilliant answer. So much for unconditional love, so much for doing God's work. That was beautiful. Well, you did promise you would come back, so I'm gonna bug you
Yes,
about that.
I will come back. I will
I'm
read
very
more
persistent.
poems.
I'm very persistent. Brandon will tell you I can really be persistent. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed it, and it's been such a joy getting to know you better and hear your poetry, and you made me cry twice, so, hey, it's a first. So thank you so much for your
Now
time.
you know to have the tissues ready.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time. Big hugs and kisses to you. Okay. Bye, Miranda.
Bye.